Here's three ways you can get your first pull up. So, just as a story for some context, when I first started training calisthenics, I could not do a single pull up, right? I had the doorway pull up by my attic. I jumped on it, double overhand grip. I went to a dead hang. I thought I'm going to do like at least, let's say, 5 reps here. I couldn't do a single rep. I was very light, I was very skinny, and I still couldn't do a single rep. So, I'm going to talk through about three ways you can get your first pull up. Number one is resistance bands. This was probably the best option. I didn't have this option when I started because I didn't buy any resistance bands. I didn't have any resistance bands at home. So why are resistance bands so good? They're basically a form of progressive overload. So let's say you have someone doing weighted pull-ups, you have me doing weighted pull-ups. The way I progressively overload is I add like 2 kg every few workouts to the dip belt, and then I do my pull-ups. Resistance bands are like the same thing but an opposite. So you have the thickest resistance band. You use that. You strap it around your knees, not your feet. If you strap it around your feet and it snaps, you're gonna be in a lot of pain. So you bend your knee. You put the resistance band around one of your knees, and then you do your pull-ups. Over time, let's say every few workouts, you drop the band. So you use a band with a bit less resistance. You do that for a few workouts, and then you use a band with a bit less resistance as well after that. So over time, it's like you're taking away resistance, you're adding resistance onto yourself by using a thinner and thinner band. That's why resistance bands, I think, are one of the best ways to get your pull up, because they easily progressively overload. You don't have to use like weird methods. Like they work pretty well. That's number one. Number two is timed negatives. A negative is where you jump up, you're at the pull up bar, you go to the top of pull up where your chin is above the bar, right? And then like you just like you let yourself go like slowly, like you slowly come back down. You control yourself coming back down. So the way you overload this is, let's say you're coming back down at you stay coming back down for like 2 seconds, right? You can do 2 seconds. You can do 3 sets of like five, where one rep is like you jumping up to the bar, and then you slowly come down and you make yourself come down for at least 2 seconds. So you wait it out, you make it slow, and you control it. And then next week you can do 4 seconds. The week after that you can do 6 seconds, 10 seconds. You can do all of that, and then that would actually train your back strength by training the eccentric. You're training like the second half of the movement. You're training the part where you come down. So time negatives are another really good way of training your first pull up. Third way is to just get a stronger back in general, and then the way you can do this is bodyweight rows. So a bodyweight row is the fastest way I can explain it is you probably seen the barbell row where someone like has a barbell and then like they use their arms to get it towards them. A bodyweight row is you have a bar and then you pull yourself up to the bar but your feet are still on the floor. So you're pulling yourself up by moving your chest towards the bar. I'll pull up an image on screen if I can. So you have bodyweight rows. If you have a bodyweight row, let's say you're completely vertical at the start and you're pulling up to a bar that's here, right? Over time, you want to eventually get flatter and flatter and flatter and flatter and flatter. Let's say my nail is the front of my head. You want to get flatter and flatter and flatter. So you're pulling up to right like that. You're pulling up from there. You get flatter and flatter and flatter, and then you pull up from there. That's what you want to do. You want to progress towards parallel on bodyweight rows, and that would add weight to the movement over time. That's going to make it harder and harder. Your back's going to get stronger and stronger, and then when you hop on the pull-up bar, you're going to surprise yourself. You're going to get your first pull-up. So try out these methods. I would try out number one if you don't have access to. I would try out number one if you don't have access to distance bands. I would try out number three. I would try out bodyweight rows. If you don't have access to a row bar, then I would try out time negatives. So thanks for watching, and you should get your first pull up in a few weeks after watching this. I believe you will.